You can shift states at the snap of a finger. I have gone from the nice guy, beta male, to the stoic alpha, the guy who is very serious and professional, posture up. I have been able to do both states and have success in my professional career and in my dating life with both states. And the crazy part is, I feel like I have two masks, right? And the reason why I'm telling you this, guys, is because if there's anyone who knows about states and how to step in them, it's me, okay? And this is not just for me to promote myself, but states are more than just doing a sat session on your pillow before bed. It's more than doing affirmations and visual imaginal acts. It's about knowing that you are probably shifting states right now in your daily life. You just got to know when you're doing it. So you see, for me personally, I've had the state of the goofball, the class clown, the nice guy who just likes to be a jester, almost, if you will, right? I mean, you've heard of jester maxing. Well, I've been kind of like a jester, especially during my younger years, right? Because, of course, I'm 150 right now, right? So I'm a grandpa, right? But in all seriousness, I grew up kind of like as a class clown guy who just was always joking around, even to the point where, and I've said this in other videos, that my mother would even say, "Hey, you need to take things more seriously, right?" Well, a few years ago, when I experienced a breakup with my ex, that was the thing that actually got me into Law of Assumption, because it got to the point where it was the most serious relationship that I ever got into, where I was considering marriage, like seriously considering it. And I was able to witness the relationship deteriorate right in front of my eyes. Like literally, I remember the honeymoon phase vividly, and I remember the looks on her face in the aftermath, right? And even after the breakup. And honestly, it's almost like the first time that you visit a morgue. Okay, it's something that sticks with you, and I guess whether you can call it trauma, whether you call it a wake up call, it got to the point where I was like, I'm tired of being a version of myself that I know is only sabotaging my love life and my finances and my career, right? Because the thing is it'd be different if I was being the class clown, if I was being the nice guy out of authenticity, but I was able, even in the midst of it, to realize that I was doing it out of fear. A lot of times I didn't know how to tell somebody the word no. A lot of times I recognized from my I am awareness that I was very different with a certain set of people, but the ones that I was more attracted to, the women that I put on a pedestal, I would have to put on this mask, right? And it became so apparent to me that I was not being authentic, right? Now, the whole being a class clown and having a good sense of humor, that was something that was never necessarily a bad thing, but it got to the point where, because I was so good at it, I would use it as a coping mechanism, right? And it got to the point where in moments when I needed to be that masculine role, where my girlfriend needed the guy to put his foot down, she needed the man to make the tough decision in the moment, I was acting like a lot of these beta males that you see on social media or in the movies, where they're like, "No, babe, well, where do you want to go? You know, and venting to her, crying in front of her. And again, this is already starting to sound like a red pill video, right? But I'm getting somewhere. You see, again, there's nothing wrong with being a crier as a man. There's nothing wrong with being more masculine if you're a woman, right? But the issue is when it's not your true essence. And I was well aware that a lot of these moments when I was trying to be too nice and I was afraid to take charge, I was acting inauthentically. And the reason why I knew this is because there was certain people, like family members, friends, who I really didn't give too much of a shit for. As a matter of fact, I had a set of friends where I was trying to impress them, and then I had a set of friends where they were trying to impress me. The ones who were trying to impress me, I could give two shits from. And guess what? You could only imagine which were the ones that were more attracted to me and saw me as more magnetic. The ones that I didn't give a shit about. And guess how I acted in front of them? I was not the nice guy. That was when I stepped more into the stoic mask. Remember, I'm talking about the two states. I had the nice guy and then I had the very stoic masculine guy. You see, nowadays I'm more a balance, but back a few years ago, before I got into the law of assumption, and the 27 years before that, I was way more, like, I would say 80% the jester and only 20% the stoic guy, right? So what am I getting at? Well, it was clear to me that my girlfriend broke up with me because I wasn't being the masculine self that I knew I could be. In rare occurrences, I noticed that I could have that masculine role. Okay, that stoic nature of me, right? The one who, even in the storm, I was calm, I was still, I was relaxed, right? I can't tell you how many times I look back at the relationship and I say, dude, I know for a fact if I would have just been more calm, more chilled, more, even the small minuscule things of like the way I would talk, right? Kind of like, hey, oh, yeah, oh man, oh dude, I just missed a red light. Like, oh my gosh, almost to a point where it's like feminine, right? Instead of just being like, oh shit, I just missed a red light. And she's like, Neo. I'm like, what? Whatever, man, let me take a U-turn here. Rather than, oh no, I missed a red light, oh my gosh. Fuck, we're gonna be late. And she's looking at me like if I'm some fucking weird girlfriend of hers. You get what I'm trying to say, guys? You see, there's nothing wrong with showing emotion, but you see, not only was it coming off feminine, but I actually knew that I was acting out of fear, and therefore, at the time, I didn't know about states and law of assumption, Neville Goddard, but now I knew that because I was acting in the state of lack, because I was acting in the state of fear, I was only manifesting more fear, in which fear and breakups are fucking connected, as you can imagine, right? So again, after the breakup, I started studying different stoic people. I looked up celebrities and people in movies that I really admired the stoicism. I always admired, this character Bosch from the show. His name is Harry Bosch, and he's from the show that's literally called Bosch, Bosch. It's more of an Amazon Prime original series. Love that shit. And I would also watch like some of those stoic, characters in the movies, sometimes like the badasses, even like the gangsters and stuff like that. And I always like the dynamic where it's like a woman who is so feminine and then the guy is like almost serious all the time. Now the thing is it got to the point where, because they were so used to seeing the jester, when I started acting that way, first of all, it was like it literally felt like I was possessed by a demon at first, right? Because it was like so polarizingly opposite to what I was, what they were accustomed to seeing, right? I might have to make this more into like a 20, 30 plus minute video on all the details, right? Which I could put on my membership channel. But, it took about 6 months and it became my natural state, right? Now, I still have moments where I shift back, right? But it's very rare. Like it's to the point where, like for people who've gone to the gym and they used to eat like shit and they used to be so lazy, and now it got to the point where they were so consistent that even when they do have days where they don't go to the gym, they can never go more than maybe a week, or maybe even a week is pushing it, right? And they just will eventually go back. That's the way it is with my new state. I will always go back more to the more masculine side of me, which every man, by the way, has it. Every man has a more masculine side and also a more feminine side, right? I'm just simply tapping into that masculine side, right? And so what I'm getting at is it only took me 6 months. And what I do, I studied people who I admired their stoicism, their masculinity, the versions of characters and archetypes that I wanted to embody. And just literally just by watching those shows and studying their body language, like if I was an actor, I was able to get a huge boost in understanding how to step into that state. But then on top of that, when it really hit was when I push through the embarrassment, push through the uncomfortableness, which is why sometimes when you're stepping into a state, whether it's that you want to be more masculine, or whether if you're a woman, you want to be more feminine, or whether it's that you feel like you're too serious and you want to be more of a kind soul, or whether it's just that you are very doubtful in your career, in your sales, in your whatever. Maybe you're a content creator yourself and you want to step more into that part of you that is more authentic. Maybe you're trying to embrace a certain perceivable flaw that you have in your character, right? Well, whether it's something that is perceivably more weak or strong, or maybe you have already had the assumption where you don't believe that being feminine as a guy is a weak thing. This is not about me promoting sexual polarity. I'm just using the example of what works for me. I personally like to be more on the masculine side, right? But whether it's you trying to be more feminine, more masculine, more weak, more strong, more empathetic, more selfish, when it comes to states, you got to realize that you have different masks for each role. You have a different mask with your boss. You have a different mask with your parents. You have a different mask with your partners, right? And that's fine. But just know that just like anything, practicing the guitar, practicing going to the gym more and building that muscle, it is something that can take time to become your dwelling place, right? But the more you step into that and the more you are able to be consistent in each field in your life in that state, the more it will become your natural state, just like any sort of habit, right? So just know that it's okay to recognize that you act different in certain situations than others, right? But I personally believe that instead of saying I act different around my family as opposed to, maybe you have a father that you're trying to impress too much, right? And you feel like you have to be more, I always got to be this certain way in front of my dad. I don't want him to see this part of myself. No, you could just simply say that with your dad, you are more respectful. You are more... You have a more empathetic side. You have a more humbling side, right? But you are all possibilities. You are all realities. Think of it this way. Look at all the different masks that you hold. Like for me, I still don't put away completely my old self in regards to like the jester. I still know how to have fun. I still know how to be the goofball that I once was. But I just take the best parts of that rather than using it during moments just to cope with being anxious about something or nervous. Instead of doing it as a coping mechanism, I do it to act when I actually know that I have a legitimate, inspired, comedic thought to make somebody laugh. That's when I use it. Just like a boxer, he's not always going to keep throwing the uppercut. Otherwise, it's predictable, right? You want to know when to throw the uppercut, when to throw the left hook, when to dodge, when to back away, when to weave, right? So embody all the elements of each mask that you have and roll them into one and make that your true self. So maybe I should call this How to Truly Be Yourself the Neville Goddard Way, right? But that's just a little nugget of wisdom that I want to share with you guys. Maybe something slightly different than what I'm typically talking about. But this helps with SPs. This helps with manifesting careers and physical appearance changes because it's all states. If you want to manifest a physical appearance change. You just be the person who would have that physical appearance, right? So maybe if you are trying to get a six pack, more muscles, you act like the dude, the version of yourself that you know would behave that way if they had that body, right? Using the things that I talked about in this video. Now, if you want more help on manifesting, guys, book a call with me or join a membership. The links are down below. I would love to work with you, and join the membership for access to videos that you will never see on the public side. And also, I just started posting all the videos for the next 2 months that I plan on publishing on the public side. The membership channel has access to videos up to 2 months in advance that will be shown on the public side, and also the only location where you can see exclusive videos that you will never see publicly, and also personal client success stories that are 20 plus minutes long each. Okay, so until next time, guys, I love y'all.